Hi everybody, it's November 5th, 2025. At times, we get annoyed by people telling us everything is going to work out. And it stops being annoying when you figure out that they're probably right, because each and every situation or hiccup or problem that comes into our life, it has to fade away. There's not enough energy in each situation to keep on sustaining perpetual hardship for you, because things just naturally change. Things shed their skin and become something new. So when somebody says everything's going to be okay and it upsets you, the trick I've learned is to accept, when they say that, to accept that as a sign that maybe it's time to start looking forward and to trying to broaden your horizons, to attack and to learn and to delve into something else that will take up your attention, because sooner or later that problem is going to get behind you, and you may turn around and start looking behind yourself, prolonging the uncomfortable feeling that you have, while you are missing out on the new aspect or the new storyline of your life. And so that brings me to the interesting shroud of pain. When we are under a shroud of pain, I wouldn't say that suffering or pain is the truth, but the presence of suffering and pain makes the truth more visible. It makes it more understandable. And the truth isn't always a hard truth, and it's not a dark truth. Is when you are under pain, a shroud of pain, under a painful situation, the truth is it reveals itself, so that you can understand why you are going through what you're going through, and also it reveals itself so that you could find the way out. And that's not always the end. Maybe you know how to get out. Maybe you understand the steps it takes to get out, but you can't get out immediately because of the processes of this current affliction. But just the presence of truth is a sign, or it is a grace that being under that pain allows us. Because when we are in the mid part of life, the mundane, the routine part of life, the truth blends into the sky, so to say. It blends into the horizon, and you can't really determine if your direction is one of progression or if it's futile, just because of the angle of your attention. But when the pain comes, the truth pops out. And that's one of the benefits of being in a situation that causes you discomfort. So another good thing about being under the shroud of pain is that once you've been through many, many trials in your life, and you've been through enough to keep your cool, some of us are lovers of life. And the lovers of life will they will take the pain off from the clothesline. They will wrap themselves up in the pain, and they will laugh, and they will enjoy it, because they know it's going to be over. They know it's going to burn up really fast, really quickly, and they are going to become stronger, and they're going to become unwieldy or hard to deal with in terms of the spiritual entities or enemies that are coming after them. This swallowing up and swathing yourself in the pain that is trying to disrupt you is a deep faith in the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. It's a deep faith in your spiritual connection to your own power. When you can take the pain just to let it evaporate more quickly, you start to love life. You start to eat up life. You start to feast on life. And you take all the opportunities that you want, and you leave the ones you don't want behind. So that's another benefit of being under the shroud of pain. And I would say one of my practices is that when I'm not feeling too excitable, when I'm not feeling too energetic to try to take on the pain so it could go away, sometimes I let the pain remain over me, and I try to develop my muscle of peace. And this is holding the pain or the suffering or the discomfort that's in my current sphere of awareness, and letting it sit there and letting it bug me and letting it try to take my attention away. But then I just sit with it. I could be sitting normal, I could be walking, I could be driving. I just notice it's there, and I just try to develop my sense of peace despite the pain, despite the suffering, despite the discomfort. And I wouldn't say that I've come to any like otherworldly or psychedelic kind of realization, but the peace that I get from allowing the pain to be there and still loving my life and still living my life and still keeping my routines up despite this annoyance, I would say the peace that it gives me is just preparation for the times ahead. It's preparation for being distracted and diverted ahead. And it also resolves the past. When I could sit with my pain in peace, I remember when I couldn't do this. I remember when I was younger and when I was going through things that I didn't deserve, that I felt I didn't deserve. Maybe I didn't, or maybe I did. But I remember I was going through many things I felt I didn't deserve, that I felt were life-ending, where I felt where I lost everything. And being able to be at peace in the presence makes all of that suffering that I went through in my younger years make sense. It makes it equal. It equalizes it and lets the beauty come in. It lets the beauty come in life, come to my present through that past that I had no answers for at the time. And so I closed the loop, and the loop is now peaceful. The loop is now rewarding. It is now revealing. So under the shroud of pain, it is not something that you want to go through, but when it comes, it reveals more than you would think if you don't get too excited and too distracted while it is over you. So I hope this helps. Thanks.